Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here with an update video, and first off let me apologize, there's probably going to be some horrendous construction noise in the background. I can't help that because that is my life now. It is just constant stream of construction. And that's part of what's going on with the update, and then there's also something else completely unrelated to that, which was what prompted me to make this update video in the first place, and then it just kind of started expanding into other things. So I'm going to take the non-construction related thing first, but that is one of the series that I've been doing for over a year now is going to be cancelled, and it's not because I don't want to do it, but because the service is ending. The IndieBox unboxing videos that I've been doing are going to be no more. IndieBox sent out a email yesterday to its subscribers saying that they are going to be ending the monthly subscription-based service, which is really disappointing. I am actually really bummed out about it. I cannot really say, and I'm going to get into a little bit into that, expand on those thoughts. But they said they are not going out of business, they're just changing business models. So, just jumping into that, one of the reasons why I really liked IndieBox is because it was a monthly subscription service. Just pay a fee, get a game. It's a collector's edition version of a game that does not exist in physical anywhere else. That was their business model. The thing about it is they focus mostly on PC. The game had to be available on Windows and Linux. That was the trade-off. Occasionally, very rarely, would they pick up a game that was on console. I think the only one I can think of is Nuclear Throne. And I'm super glad that they did that because I love being able to play Nuclear Throne on my PS4 with some friends. But anyway, it was a service that I enjoyed because it exposed me to games that I otherwise would have skipped. Several of these games are games that I would have been like, yeah, it looks neat, but I probably won't spend the money on it. Things like Axiom Verge, Freedom Planet, Hollow Knight, Armello, Nuclear Throne, Hue, Halcyon 6, you know, just to name a few. And then there's some games on there that I had heard of, and they still not ever thinking I was going to get into. Things like Super Meat Boy, Stanley Parable. Like, there were a lot of games that I'm like, okay, to me it was an amazing service because I get exposed to these games that I otherwise would have skipped, and I get them with a packaging that comes with a ton of awesome stuff. And that's ending, and that's really sad to me. They have not confirmed what business model they are going to take going forward. From all of the community discussions, it seems likely that they're going to do something like limited run games and focus on, like, just, we're going to have a game, you can pre-order it. If you get the pre-order, great. If not, oh well. And limited run games has gotten a lot of flack for their business model, to the point where it's actually recently changed. I've only picked up 2 games from limited run games, One Way Heroics and Ys Origins. And One Way Heroics wasn't that big of a deal because it's kind of a niche game. The only reason why I went for it is because Spike Chunsoft, and it was right after Grand Kingdom, and I really wanted to help continue supporting them because I loved Grand Kingdom. So, but I've seen a lot of people in the community say, like, this is kind of crap, it's not exactly a good business model. It's kind of like the Nintendo business model. We're only going to make so many of these, and it's first come, first serve. You can pre-order however many you want, and that's going to just really not help the base consumer, but rather than the scalper and second-hand resale market. And so a lot of people were not happy about that. And from what I've heard, they've changed their business model. Specifically, when Ys Origin came out, they had a collector's edition that they kind of followed that business model, but they did limit 1 per customer for that. So they did kind of limit that as well. But then they also had a standard edition, which they had considerable more copies. So if you just wanted the physical game, you had that option. If you wanted the collector's edition, you had that option. You didn't have to worry about one guy ordering like 12 copies and you being screwed and having to buy them on eBay after the fact. The problem is if IndieBox goes that route and they still focus on PC games, which is what they've been doing, games that are available on Windows or Linux, Windows and Linux. Those are some of the early stipulations for their criteria of picking games, was it has to be available on PC as any computer as a platform. Consoles were kind of there, but if if it's, you know, Windows and Linux, that typically meant it was a game that was eligible for them to do. If that's the case, I'm probably not going to continue getting content from them, because while I've grown more accustomed to PC gaming, I mostly did this because it was an experience to get me to focus on games that I probably never would have tried. And now that that's not the case, I'm probably just going to look at them and think, I'm probably not, I'll skip this one, it's not worth it. And if it's PC, I'm more likely to do that. I mean, Limited Run Games focuses solely on console games, PS4, really just PS4 for the most part. I have a hard time keeping up with all of the games that they do. And there have been several games that they've done that I've really wanted to pick up, and it's just, I don't have the time or to sit there and hunt to make sure I get the pre-order, or at that time I don't have the money. Whereas with like IndieBox, I've always been able to just set aside, okay, this is just money for this month. Just it's easier with the subscription service because it's like I can just allocate that automatically and not have to worry about it. Whereas with Limited Run Games, it's like maybe one game every 6 months, and that's a little bit harder to deal with, especially when I'm doing, you know, pre-orders for other titles that I'm interested in, and collector's editions like the giant freaking Sonic box back there. So yeah, I'm really bummed about this. It really does suck. I loved the service so much. It was just amazing. I hope they continue to do well in whatever business model they choose. I'm just probably not going to be as prone to jump into that particular business model. Depending on where they go, I'm going to give them a chance to show off what business model they're actually going to follow before I make any sort of concrete decision on whether or not I support it or not. Because if they do decide, okay, we're going to do this, you know, kind of like Limited Run Games, we're going to do PC or console, if there's a console version for it, then, you know, depending on the game, I would be more inclined to, you know, to throw cash at them when I could, because then that's still if there's only one game every 6 months that they're producing, them, I might not be able to, but it would be more likely for me to continue if they you know, expanded into the console market as well. But that's the way the world works sometimes. You know, business changes. You've got to grow or adapt, or you get left behind. I just didn't think I didn't think they would be left behind. They had a very unique and interesting business model. I guess just something about it was not working, and that sucks because I loved it. The other update to the channel is uploads are going to be kind of sporadic for the next week or so during the construction period. I can't record when people are bolting things to my house. I really can't. I have tried adjusting a lot of things to make sure that the outside noise does not get in, and there's no way for me to do that with my current setup. So uploads are going to be kind of sporadic. I am going to try to live stream a little bit more, which one of the things that I posted talking about, you know, if people like to see afternoon live streams, that's something I'm going to be looking into. I might actually do one today. I don't know. We'll find out. So like for the time being, doing some extra live content, because, you know, you expect things to go wrong when it's live. So having noise in the background, that's one thing, but like having like an edited video that I plan on keeping up as a part of a project that I'm trying to put a great deal of effort into, you don't want the whirring of saws or like pneumatic drills or that sort of thing in the background of the video. That's not... I don't consider myself a professional, but there's a line there, and I'm just like, no, that would piss me off. And if it's going to piss me off, it's probably going to piss off some of the viewers. So, like I said, uploads are going to be fairly sporadic, because I will get considerably less time to record, because I mostly record during the day, and that's when they're here doing their jobs. So I can't say anything about it because they're a fantastic construction crew. They've been, you know, amazing, professional and courteous. The only problem is like them doing their job prevents me from being able to do mine. So like I said, probably going to see a lot more live streams of just completely random content for the time being, until the construction has abated and I can go back to a normal recording schedule. So that's really the state of the channel at the moment. No more indie box games, sadly. They have said that I believe there are 2 more games coming out, so I will do those last 2 indie box games. I have not gotten last month's yet. I should be getting that sometime in the next week or so. And then there's October's, which is Torchlight 2, I believe. Torchlight 2 is the game that they said is going to be the last game. So once I get that will be it. So there will be no more indie box games. And super sad about that. But the wheel keeps on turning. Life goes on, etc., etc. And then for the time being, my standard uploads, so Shining Force CD content is going to be a little hit or miss. I do apologize for that because I know the last time I tried to do Shining Force CD is when my channel got attacked for copyright and got taken down. So I'm not saying Shining Force CD is cursed, but I'm saying Shining Force CD to date is probably the most interesting project I've done in terms of hoops I've had to jump through just to get the thing done. So yes, that's, like I said, that's the state of the channel. There's not really too much else to ramble on. If you guys want to see more weekly streams, that's something that I've really wanted to do. I do have a Patreon goal that's set up to make a second permanent streaming day, to where I can have the time to juggle that. So that's one of the goals that we've been working towards. So if that's something you guys want and something you guys are able to contribute to, I do have the Patreon set up. The link for that will be below. And in the meantime, all the people who do support the channel already through Patreon, you guys have my deepest, most sincere thanks. You guys really have no idea how much it helps just having that little bit. And every little bit really does help. Even if you're not able to contribute a ton, just any little bit does go a ton. It goes a long way to helping keep this channel going. And then if you're not able to contribute to the Patreon, you know, just the liking, the commenting, favoriting, subscribing, all that jazz really helps as well. Because the more people who do that, the more visible my videos become, meaning they can reach a wider audience, which means growth, and growth means growth. That was probably the stupidest and most meta statement I've ever made. So yeah, any help that you guys have done is just so greatly appreciated. Anything else you can do, even if it's just sharing a video with a friend and being like, hey, check this guy out, it helps. Like I said, I've got the Patreon link in the video description. I've also got all the other information on how to help out the channel. But again, a huge thank you to everyone. I do apologize that things are going to be wonky for the next little bit. It's life. Life kind of sucks sometimes. But I'll still be here. I'll still be posting content. I'm going to be a little more active on Twitter. At least I'm going to try to. And like I said, I'm going to try to be doing more live streams to kind of make up for the weird schedule for the next little bit. So, in the meantime, I will see you all in the next video I do, or the next live stream, or whatever it is I do. See you on Twitter. Who knows? I'll be around. But I will see you in the next installment. So till then, later everyone.